A Donkey Kong and Missile Command Conspiracy, Part 6 of 6. I, Roy, Mr. Awesome Schilt, appeared at the California Extreme Video Game Convention July 12 through 13, 2014, 2 months ago, and passed out this flyer stating that Twin Galaxies should correct their video game scoreboard of the insanity of Player's Choice, which combines fast and slow Missile Command arcade scores together without clear indication of trackball size and cursor speed. Today is September 28, 2014, over 60 days later, and Twin Galaxies has failed to do anything except indicate they are the same worthless and dishonest scoreboard they have ever been. Here is my summation and notice of compliance to Twin Galaxies 1 week later after California Extreme. It is now July 20th, 2014. I'm Roy, Mr. Awesome Schilt, and I'm wrapping up from California Extreme last weekend. We can now see the third new release of Twin Galaxies, supposedly controlled by Jace Hall, and yet on the Twin Galaxies website scoreboard, the notations of trackball size with cursor speed for arcade Missile Command scores has not been indicated for each score. Now let me read exactly what the Twin Galaxies website says concerning Player's Choice for trackball settings for arcade Missile Command scores. Now, from their website verbatim, no bonus cities are awarded. Settings have been amended March 10, 2008 to indicate dip number 4 on R8 is entirely the player's choice. In regards to all future submissions, it will be noted whether dip switch number 4 is set to on or off. On is the slow cursor, off is the fast cursor. But the scores will all be ranked in the same high score table with no intentions to track on and off in separate tables. Now look at the listing of arcade scores for Tournament Missile Command, beginning with Tony Temple's 4.4 million point score on the Twin Galaxies website, and you can't find any indication of what choice was made for trackball size and cursor speed. That choice should be clearly indicated and seen for all arcade Missile Command scores. It can be easily done with 7 to 10 character spaces. Now, this proves that Twin Galaxies should be considered the same corrupt and dishonest organization it always has been. Now, Richie Knuckles, the former owner of Twin Galaxies, he now pretends he just found out by doing research that the 4-inch trackball is for the slow cursor and the 2.5-inch trackball is for the fast cursor. Richie Knuckles knew all about that way before he took over Twin Galaxies with Jordan Adler. I discussed it with him in detail many times. He was knowingly responsible for supporting the Twin Galaxies stupidity of improper Player's Choice. Apparently he works for Robert Merzak and Billy Mitchell, and my points at 100 rounds Missile Command score was never put up on the Twin Galaxies website because Tony Temple didn't have a higher score yet. The only reason I dealt with Richie Knuckles was to get the documentation to Guinness World Records. He's always been desperate for money ever since his wife threw him out. It now appears Robert Merzak has finally met his price. Now there are 3 Missile Command champions. Champion number 1, 4-inch trackball fast cursor. Champion number 2, 4-inch trackball slow cursor, and the equivalent 2.5-inch trackball fast cursor. Champion number 3, 2.5-inch trackball slow cursor. It's just a matter of opinion which score is best. Now every arcade Missile Command score should plainly indicate what trackball size and cursor speed was used so that a player can choose what score or record to beat. Now my player's choice is that the highest score for points at 100 rounds Tournament Missile Command 4-inch trackball slow cursor is the number 1 Missile Command champion. I can make that argument pretty easily. Now let me make this very clear, because Twin Galaxies tries to twist everything that I say. When I say that the Twin Galaxies Tournament arcade Missile Command scores play the same, I am referring to the key playing element to get a high score. Now there are 3 Missile Command champions in 3 trackball cursor speed categories in 3 different playing modes. Playing Mode 1, points at 100 rounds, tournament. Playing Mode 2, tournament no bonus city unlimited. Mode number 3, marathon, bonus city every 10,000 points. Now, the key playing element in points at 100 rounds is point pressing even when you're down to one city. The key playing element in Tournament Unlimited is protecting the middle base and the city right next to it, especially at round 102 with intensified missiles. And the key playing element in Marathon bonus city every 10,000 points, especially after 24 hours of play, is not even saving a city, but playing to achieve enough points to get to the next bonus city. Now, Bill Carlton believes that Victor Sandberg, with 81 million points Marathon, should be the overall Missile Command champion. Everyone is entitled to their opinion. If Sandberg played on 4-inch trackball fast cursor, then that should be indicated clearly on the Twin Galaxies scoreboard. Twin Galaxies does not have to recognize points at 100-round scores, nor do they have to have separate score tables, but the player's choice should be clearly indicated with every score, including Marathon scores, just as Guinness World Records has done with my Missile Command tournament score points at 100 rounds. Now, here's the certificate that they issued me. Okay? Here's the score, 1,147 at 100 rounds, and it says clearly 4-inch trackball, slow cursor. Now, that wasn't included in the 2014 Gamers Edition because there wasn't enough room, and they didn't really have to because it is the official factory recommended trackball setting. Now, Guinness World Records is way ahead of the curve with Tournament Missile Command scores of points at 100 rounds. Point pressing in a finite period of time changes playing statistics. I use a different point pressing technique now than I did in 1985, and my Missile Command score in the 2014 Guinness Gamer Edition is superior to my 1,695,265 point score from 1985 if played either fast or slow cursor. I say I am a better player now because of my new point pressing technique, but it is physiologically impossible to play my absolute best score due to loss of endurance from aging. Twin Galaxies tries to twist everything that I say, and only an insane person would expect me to play as well now as I could have in 1985 with respect to endurance. Now, my message to Tony Temple is to prove you're not a coward, but in fact a gentleman and a good sportsman by insisting that scorekeepers include the trackball size and cursor speed setting on any score you achieve, especially if it is not an official factory recommended trackball setting. You should contact Twin Galaxies right now to insist the proper notation be added to your score on their website. Tony, I didn't appreciate your statement that Roy Schilt didn't know what trackball setting he used in 1985. It appears that Robert Merzak put you up to say that, so he could use that statement to invalidate my Missile Command scores. Now, on October 5th, 2008 at E4All in Los Angeles, on my first game I played Arcade Tournament Missile Command and scored 810,000 points with 2 cities still left over 600,000 points, a small miracle considering the glare from the overhead lighting. They were actually filming that score with a hidden camera, by the way. Having 2 cities left over 600,000 points is much more difficult than simply rolling a 1 million point score. You could have been there, you could have been paid to be there, but you refused. Now, had you been there, you would have seen me play, and you have no doubt as to the validity of all my Missile Command scores. Then we would have went to Laser Blazer to check my machine and play some more games. Now, I want everyone to know, don't get chumpatized and let Twin Galaxies cheat you. I wouldn't even consider turning in a score to Twin Galaxies or have anything to do with Twin Galaxies until Twin Galaxies corrects the insanity of player's choice for cursor speed on Missile Command scores by listing the trackball size and cursor speed for every score of Missile Command, including Marathon scores, where that information is known. And if Victor Ali says he played 4-inch trackball slow cursor for his 80 million Marathon score, he shouldn't have to replay the whole game, but play up to 810,000 points no bonus city tournament to prove that he's capable. Now, for more information and updated ideas and information, see shockandawesome.com. Thank you very much. Twin Galaxies today, with Jace Hall supposedly in charge, has changed nothing for Arcade Missile Command and has demonstrated nothing but their continued selfish, dishonest, and vindictive behavior. It appears that Billy Mitchell and Walter Day still hold a controlling stock interest in Twin Galaxies. Twin Galaxies' long history proves that there is always a way to cheat at video games. At the 1986 Player of the Year contest, Dwayne Richard won because Walter Day failed to choose the contest games by lottery and instead apparently chose the games Dwayne the Cheater Richard had a huge unfair advantage playing. Previously at the 1985 Player of the Year contest, Dwayne Richard didn't even place in the top 10. Then in 2002 at the Fun Spot tournament in New Hampshire, where Walter Day was in charge, he pulled the same crap again, but Dwayne Richard, even when Walter apparently chose games favoring him, Dwayne Richard still needed to break the rules and play his last game after the 5 p.m. deadline to steal the title rightfully belonging to Donald Hayes. In fact, one does not need to even break the rules to cheat. Anytime a competitor knowingly uses an unfair advantage not available to other players, it is cheating. When anabolic steroids were first used in sports, it was not considered cheating because it didn't break any rules. But later, when it was determined an unfair advantage, it was declared cheating. The Fosbury flop in high jumping was never considered cheating because it didn't break any rules. But consider if Mr. Fosbury were a communist athlete and shared his new technique only with communist nations 6 months before the Olympics. Wouldn't that be cheating? How would you feel if you turned in a world record performance of a video game score to Twin Galaxies and it went purposely unapproved for weeks with a bunch of excuses, and suddenly someone else had a higher record approved before yours, and your score was used to coach the new world record holder? That's cheating. Now at the Kong-Off 3, I believe Billy Mitchell cheated because Richie Knuckles failed to adhere to the Guinness World Records player-on-machine rotation rule. That's cheating in respect to the contest per se, though any record achieved on any fair machine would be a fair world record. Now I have said that Dr. Chen used an unfair advantage for his Guinness World Records 1,138,000 point Donkey Kong score because Dwayne Richard gave him a copy of Billy Mitchell's Donkey Kong tape. But Dr. Chen didn't cheat unless he knew it wasn't available to everyone else. Twin Galaxy a-holes wanted someone besides Steve Wiebe, like Dr. Chen, to get a good world record to cover for Billy Mitchell's bullcrap on his 1,062,800 point Donkey Kong score in the 2011 Guinness Gamer Edition on page 177, where it says Billy Mitchell bizarrely quit his game early when he could have scored more points because maybe he's cocky or lazy and just being Billy Mitchell. Now I think he didn't want to score so high as to attract scrutinization to the notation that his score might be fake and he's really silly bitchel. Hey Billy, here's the plaque that you deserve. And stick it in your bunghole. See shockandawesome.com for more details.